Wouldn't it be wonderful if we had 2020 foresight as well as we had 2020 hindsight and could avoid making mistakes in our life? Well, that's not going to happen because we are going to make mistakes. We are human. And today we will cover the 3 things to do when you do make a mistake. Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Colleen. If this is your first time joining us, my name is Colleen Hammond. I'm a former on-camera meteorologist for the Weather Channel, turned executive image consultant, right now during the pandemic, a virtual stylist, and I love to teach women how to be beautiful from the inside out. So if this is the first time and you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you click that little button if you're watching on YouTube and click the bell so that you'll know the next time a video comes out. So let's talk about mistakes, because guess what? We're going to make them. And to think you'll never make a mistake is not only unrealistic, it's not very wise either, because once you make a mistake, out of those mistakes are what comes learning and accomplishments, and it can be a springboard to your success if you do it properly, if you embrace it and do these things properly. You know, Thomas Edison is quoted as working with one of his apprentices and saying, you know, this kid tried something, 900 times and came to him and said, this isn't going to work. This whole project's invalid and it's a waste of time. And Edison was quick to tell him it's not a waste of time. You know now more about this project than anybody else on the planet because of all the experiments that you've done. So you've been educated in what does not work. And you are now the pro and the expert. So anytime somebody comes to you, you can tell them, no, that's not going to work. I tried that. How do I know I tried it? You are now the world's expert. Get back in there and make sure you keep going until you find out what does work. So he's credited with the, try something 9,999 times, keep going, because it's the 10,000th time you try something that is when you figure it out and hit success. So if we took that approach to life, it would be safe to say that we had accomplished so much more, because if you try something once and you quit, but if you try something 10,000 times, you found 9,999 ways that didn't work, and that 10,000th time it did. And there was so much learning that you did along the way, and you can move forward with confidence that you'll never make that mistake again. So what are the 3 things to do when you do make a mistake? Number 1 is reframing it in your head that it's a learning experience. Don't let it depress you or discourage you, and don't let it limit your futures, because it doesn't mean you failed. You failed in action. You are not a failure as a human being. You made a mistake. That was an event, not who you are. So think about that. I made a mistake on, we'll say, the exam. And because of those mistakes, I failed the exam. I'm a failure. Is that your thought process? Or I made several mistakes on the exam. I failed the exam. Problem solving. I need to talk to the professor and make sure that that doesn't happen again. I need a plan. I need to learn something from this. So you see the difference. It's like the first 2 are the same. I've made mistakes on the exam. I failed the exam. But do you quit, or do you make a plan and use it as a learning experience and move forward? So think about the last time you failed at something. What did you do? How did you look at it? Did you keep going, or did you just quit and move on to and just do something else? Or did you keep driving forward on that one issue? Number 2, and this takes courage. Admit you were wrong. It's a sign of emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, to humble yourself and just say you were wrong. Because when people are unwilling to accept their portion of the blame in a situation, it's a sure sign of low emotional intelligence. And you need to reassess that relationship. Set your boundaries if that's something you don't want to move forward to. Because being that way in your own life is going to limit your progress. But having people like that in your life, they're like crabs that pull you back into the pot, right? If you take a pot of cold water and put the crabs in it and slowly increase the heat, the crabs will die. But if you start, and then one tries to crawl out, what happens? Other crabs will grab them and pull them back in. Well, you're trying to crawl out of the pot and you've got all these negative Nellies around you pulling you back into the pot. Set your boundaries and get those type of people out of your life. So when something happens and you are confronted with the fact that you made a mistake, what's your gut instinct? First thing that you do? Do you look for someone or something else to blame? Do you blame yourself? Do you just not think about it? I'm just not going to think about it anymore. Or do you use other escape means like overspending or overeating, a substance abuse, binge watching TV, playing video games, and Candy Crush on your phone, whatever. So think back to a time you made a mistake. What was your first gut response? But then what you actually did? And what happens is if you don't deal with it, it hangs over your head, and then it's just worse because it festers and it causes health problems and stress and all that kind of stuff. So think back of what you did and how can you change that into a problem-solving event and accept responsibility, your portion. Because we're all, none of us are blameless. And when you can look at a situation and your first response is, darn right, they should apologize, they blew it, as opposed to, oh, wow, that was very big of them to apologize first. I probably should have apologized too. And to recognize your portion in that. It's just simple maturity. So learning to admit your mistakes. Number 3, know that only when you ignore something or use these avoidance techniques, that's when things go bad. That's really a bad negative thing. So when you confront the mistake, you can take advantage of the fact that you can turn it into a positive. And I mean, come on, let's be real. It's natural to want to avoid mistakes and to avoid the responsibility, but avoidance and denial just leads to more suffering. So it's not going to help you process the experience either, and you don't learn from it. But so confront these things head on, shoulder squared, and go right into it. Admit your responsibility and deal with it. And keep your sense of humor. You know, mistakes are not the end of the world. Think of all the other things you've survived. You are a survivor. Think of all the other things that you've survived and laugh in the face of adversity. Learning to laugh is extremely important. And of course, I've told you this before, but taking a pen and putting it in your mouth for 2 minutes, it forces your cheeks up and they force little glands that are in your face to help you release endorphins to make you a happier person. So if you're having a hard time laughing on your own, go ahead and stick a pen in your mouth like that when you're emptying the dishwasher or you're doing something else. I don't know, you have a waterproof pen, do it in the shower. And that will help you laugh more and laugh in the face of adversity, because mistakes are part of life. So mistakes ought not to halt your momentum. They should help you figure out a better path. So I hope those tips were helpful for you. Again, make sure that you subscribe to our channel and look for those links in the show notes. Do you agree with me? Disagree? Make a comment below. Let me know what you think. And if you are a member of the Café Club, you will find the notes for this show inside your membership. And if you're not a member of the Café Club, make sure that you take a look at the Café Club page that's linked in the bottom of the show notes, and it will tell you all about how to become an inside member and join us inside the cafe. All right, take care. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us. And again, let me know what you thought. Bye-bye.